Alara Monroe never expected to become famous. She was just a struggling artist, posting fantasy-themed videos online. With bills piling up and her dream of being a full-time creator slipping away, she made a desperate decision. She would reinvent herself. Wearing shimmering wings, enchanted gowns, and intricate makeup, she became Queen Alara, ruler of the Fae. Her content was a mix of whimsical storytelling, fake spells, and staged sightings of mystical creatures. With a carefully curated aesthetic and a bit of clever video editing, she convinced her growing audience that she was no mere human cosplayer, she was a real fairy. Her followers exploded overnight. Comments flooded in from accounts with strange usernames, their messages filled with archaic language and oddly poetic phrasing. Your wings glow brighter than the stars, my queen. We have waited centuries for your return. Our realm shall flourish once more under your rule. At first, she laughed it off. Fantasy roleplayers, she thought. Just a dedicated fandom playing along with the illusion. But then, weird things started happening. One night, Alara received a package at her doorstep, a golden crown woven from silver moonlight and delicate flower petals that never withered. It was unlike anything she had ever seen. Then, a message appeared in her inbox. It is time, my queen. You must claim your throne. Alara's stomach twisted. This wasn't normal. This wasn't just a fandom. Someone, or something, believed she was really a fairy queen. And they were coming for her. Alara ignored the messages at first. It was all too ridiculous. But the next night, her bedroom window blew open with a gust of fragrant wind, carrying glowing specks of light into her room. They hovered in midair, shifting and swirling until they formed a dozen tiny figures, real fairies. Their translucent wings fluttered, their eyes shimmering like liquid silver. Your Majesty, one of them whispered, bowing deeply. We have waited for you. Alara couldn't move. She wanted to scream, to deny it, to confess that she was just a fraud with a ring light and good camera angles. But before she could, they placed the enchanted crown upon her head. The moment it touched her, a powerful hum pulsed through her veins. It wasn't magic, at least, not the kind she had faked online, but something else. Expectation, duty, the weight of a kingdom. The throne awaits, another fairy said. You must come to the hidden realm. Alara's breath caught in her throat. This was spiraling out of control. She had two options: tell the truth and risk angering an entire species of magical beings who believed she was their ruler. Keep up the lie and fake her way through being a queen. A shiver ran down her spine as she made her choice. I will rule as your queen, she declared, forcing confidence into her voice. The fairies erupted into cheers. She had no idea what she just signed up for. The hidden realm was breathtaking, a floating world of glowing forests, crystal waterfalls, and golden skies that never darkened. But Alara barely had time to admire it. The fairies expected miracles. They wanted her to summon storms, bless the crops, and heal the sick. Everywhere she walked, fairy courtiers whispered in awe, expecting displays of divine power. She was given a palace woven from living vines, a throne that pulsed with ancient energy, and servants who hung on her every word. Alara was drowning in her own lie. Desperate to keep up appearances, she resorted to every trick she knew. Using sleight-of-hand tricks to make flowers bloom. Pretending to whisper spells in a forgotten tongue while actually just mumbling gibberish. Distracting the fairies with grand speeches whenever they asked for real magic. But cracks began to show. One night, a young fairy approached her, injured. Please, my queen, he begged. Heal me. Alara hesitated. There was no CGI, no filters, no way to fake it. I need time to prepare the spell, she lied. The fairies exchanged nervous glances. They were beginning to doubt. If they found out she was a fraud, what would they do to her? The fairies began testing her. They brought her before the elder tree, a sacred being that could only be blessed by true fairy magic. They asked her to call forth the wind, to revive a wilting flower, to speak with the spirits of the realm. Each time, she stalled, lied, distracted them, and then, she failed. During a grand festival, the fairies prepared a ceremony of ascension, where their queen would unleash her full power before the entire kingdom. Alara stood before thousands of fairies, all waiting. She took a deep breath. She raised her hands. She whispered fake words. Nothing happened. A cold silence filled the air. The fairies stared at her, unblinking. Then, a voice rang out. She is not our queen. The fairies' eyes turned dark. Their wings shuddered with rage. The elder tree trembled, sensing the betrayal. The sky, once golden, began to crackle with a storm. You lied to us, another voice hissed. Alara's heart pounded. She had fooled them for weeks, but now, they wanted justice. The fairies surrounded her, their wings glowing with dangerous energy. Alara had to think fast. If she admitted the truth, she'd be banished or worse. And then, it hit her. Maybe she didn't have magic, but she had influence. She had built an empire online, convincing thousands that she was real. She had turned illusion into power. And now, she would do it again. Summoning every ounce of charisma she had, she spread her arms wide and smiled. You misunderstand, she said, her voice dripping with authority. I did not deceive you, I transformed you. The fairies hesitated. I wanted you to see beyond magic, she continued. To believe in something greater than spells and rituals. To believe in yourselves. Whispers rippled through the crowd. The fairies, once furious, now looked confused. Had their queen truly been testing them all along? The storm above began to fade. The elder tree stilled, and in that moment, Alara sealed her fate. She was no longer just a fraud. She was a legend. The fairies knelt before her. And deep in her heart, Alara knew the truth. She had built a throne on lies. But if she played her cards right, she might just keep it forever.